How the DJT stock could finally make money for Donald J. Trump.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business, focused on offering smart business buying solutions, leading time to focus on growth. More at amazonbusiness.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in New York. First, the Senate is poised to approve one of the most consequential pieces of legislation to date aimed at protecting children online. The bill, if it were to become law, would force social media platforms to operate to a new standard, a duty of care. Here's Marketplace's Novo Safo.
The Kids Online Safety Act requires social media sites, messaging apps, online multiplayer video games, and other interactive platforms to default to the safest settings possible for users who are 17 and under, as the bill's co-author, Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn, explained during floor debate last week.
It requires social media companies to prevent and mitigate certain harms that they know their platforms and products are causing to young users as a result of their design choices.
The bill also updates previous data privacy laws to extend protections now available to those 13 and under to children 14 to 17 years old as well. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal is the bill's other co-author.
It empowers young people and parents. It gives them choices.
In a test vote last week, the bill got overwhelming support, overcoming concerns about stifling online speech. It's expected to pass the Senate today and head to the House, where Speaker Mike Johnson has said he will consider the measure. I'm Novo Safo for Marketplace.
Donald Trump's social media company is trading at $30 a share this morning, down more than 4% yesterday and down 40% since it launched on the stock exchange this spring. So far for the former president and current candidate, the wealth there is locked up. It's on paper, but a ProPublica reporter came across a official filing that Trump Media has started a process that could allow Donald Trump to cash in. Among teachable moments here is about something called a standby equity purchase agreement, a piece of legalese that could become a big deal. Justin Elliott is that ProPublica reporter who found this. Welcome.
Hey, good to be here.
They're setting up a standby equity purchase agreement. What does that do?
Yeah, so this is a sort of fancy sounding and technical term for something that's actually pretty simple, which is Trump Media is setting up an arrangement where if it decides to, it can sell a bunch of new shares of itself to the public to raise cash for money.
Okay, so, stock is a part of a company and it can hive off some more. And if it sells it, money is raised. Who does that benefit?
I think the striking thing about Trump Media to me, which I think a lot of people still don't understand, is that Donald Trump owns around 60% of this company, and his stake in the company at current market prices is worth roughly $4 billion, which is actually now the majority of his fortune. So if this company is able through this deal to raise cash, through the deal they can raise up to $2.5 billion. If that actually happens, Donald Trump owns 60% of a company that has $2.5 billion of cash. So I would say this would benefit former President Trump more than just about anyone else.
Now, when Trump Media went public in the spring, I remember us reporting that Donald Trump didn't have actual access to some of this wealth. It's paper wealth, and it wasn't liquid. Would this be more liquid?
The situation with former President Trump's shares right now is he's in what's called a lockup period. Even if he wanted to sell some of his shares in this company for money, he's not allowed to do that until the end of September. But there's nothing stopping the company from issuing new shares of itself for cash. And then what the company does with that money that it raises is up to the company. And Trump controls the company. So the company could raise money and go out and make an acquisition, buy another company. Or if Donald Trump, let's say, wanted some actual cash, the company could issue a dividend. So I think the thing about Donald Trump's stake in this company right now is that it's very vulnerable to the volatility of the market. If this stock crashed tomorrow, Donald Trump's $4 billion stake could, go down to something much less than that. If the company goes out and sells new shares for actual cash, then it has something concrete. It essentially locks in some of these gains for Donald Trump that are currently on paper.
All right. Well, we'll keep monitoring this space. Justin Elliott is a reporter at ProPublica. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
I see S&P futures are down 0.1% now. NASDAQ futures are up 0.3%. The Federal Reserve's interest rate setting team is starting its two-day meeting this morning. The actual rate cut is not expected until September, but we'll see what they say in the briefing tomorrow at 2 Eastern. A judge has ruled a lawsuit can go forward alleging Wells Fargo Bank pretended to try to hire more diverse people for higher paying openings by doing interviews with people it had no intention of bringing on. Some shareholders are suing, saying 11 statements by the bank pointing to success of this hiring policy were fraudulent. Wells Fargo's share price had fallen sharply when this story first broke. The bank says federal probes of this matter led to no actions.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Rubrik, a cybersecurity company focused on securing the world's data. When cyber attacks put businesses, reputations, and careers at risk, Rubrik provides the power to bounce back fast and become cyber resilient. Rubrik.com. And by The Economist, devoted to providing independent journalism that makes sense of the news shaping the world. More at economist.com or with The Economist app, newsletters, and podcasts.
It's been more than 20 years since the faster than the speed of sound French-British airliner, the Concorde, the last one, landed in the UK. But there's news in North Carolina. Company called Boom Supersonic is expecting to get a small-scale version of a new passenger plane prototype, Supersonic, by the end of this year. CEO Blake Scholl spoke to our colleagues at the BBC.
Nobody wants to spend a lot of time on an airplane. And everybody loved Concorde. Marvelous technical accomplishment. The big problem was it was too expensive. 60 years later, now we've got new technology. We've got carbon fiber composites. We've got digital engineering. We've got vastly improved engines. And now we can get the cost down of supersonic flight to the point that a lot more people can benefit.
Boom Supersonic expects a first full-scale engine for its Overture airliner will be operational by perhaps late next year. It's been illegal for civilian airliners to fly above Mach 1 over U.S. land since 1973, since the loud booms can be disruptive. U.S. land since 1973, since the loud booms can be disruptive to people and animals. In April, Boom Supersonic got an FAA waiver to conduct tests. In New York, I'm David Brancaccio. It's the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.